What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another artist spotlight. Today we are going to be looking at Frenz's Amazing Spider-Man and issue number 259 of Amazing Spider-Man. And so I had just received this comic book just recently, and I haven't shown this book yet, but this book will be coming up in a new haul that's coming out very soon. So I'm definitely look forward to showing off this book in a future haul. So y'all are getting a little bit spoiled here because you're going to be seeing a book that I haven't shown yet in another haul. But today we are looking at Frenz's version of The Amazing Spider-Man in issue number 259. I just picked a random issue, and it just so happened to be one that I just had bought off of eBay recently, and that's issue number 259. And number 259, along with number 257, 260, 261, those were some of the very first Amazing Spider-Man books that I ever read as a child back in 2006 when I first got into the hobby and was introduced to the whole world of comic books. This is one of the very first books that I read. And what I love about this book is that it goes into great detail about the life of Mary Jane. Because as readers who know a little bit about Mary Jane, we know that Mary Jane ends up marrying Peter Parker. We know that they have a very long relationship up until that disastrous storyline with One More Day. But besides that point, a lot of readers back in the 1980s didn't know that much about Mary Jane Watson, and the fact that she was just kind of a side character for the Amazing Spider-Man title. And she was just kind of happy-go-lucky character. But you can definitely tell that Tom DeFalco, who was the writer at this time, went into a lot of detail about the backstory of Mary Jane. So I'm not going to get into too much detail about the story, the backstory of Mary Jane in this issue. The main focus for this video is to look at the artwork for Frenz and his art style compared to other, artists that we've seen on this channel so far. And the reason why I think this book is needed to be highlighted is because of the way that Frenz draws Mary Jane and Peter Parker. And let's just go ahead and start with Peter Parker. And so right off the bat, when you look at Peter Parker and the way that he draws Peter Parker, especially the young version of Peter Parker, you can definitely tell that Frenz was definitely inspired by Steve Ditko's artwork. Steve Ditko definitely is very inspiring when it comes to the way he drew Spider-Man back in the 60s. And so when you look at how Frenz, layers out this character, when he draws Peter Parker, you could definitely tell that there's a lot of similarities with his Peter Parker and Steve Ditko's Peter Parker in the way that he draws his face, the glasses, everything is very, very close to the way that Steve Ditko drew Peter Parker back in those first 38 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. And so that's right off the bat. Whenever you pick up an issue that has Frenz as the artist, that's one thing you need to take note, is that he definitely draws Peter Parker in a more of a nerdy style. But one villain out of any of the villains that Frenz was a master at drawing, and that is the Hobgoblin. And just look at this right here. I mean, he is a master. I think out of anybody who drew the Hobgoblin, Frenz definitely is the best at drawing the Hobgoblin. And this artwork will just go to show you exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, folks, you definitely want to pick up this issue. I just read all of this book recently. It's a great refresher. I totally forgot what this book was about. I read this book way long ago in 2006, and for whatever reason, I lost it. It may have got damaged. I don't know what happened to it, but I'm really glad that I reacquired it. But let's go ahead now and look at how he draws Mary Jane. And of course, with Mary Jane, she's always had that kind of look where her bangs are in a certain cut, and that's kind of due to how John Romita Sr. drew her hair. And so, of course, Ron Frenz is going to continue to copy that hairstyle that Mary Jane has had for now going on 15 years at this point since the book came out. But one thing that I've noticed with Ron Frenz's artwork when it comes to Mary Jane is that it's not as similar to John Romita Sr.'s Mary Jane. This Mary Jane is definitely more, I don't know, it's nice, but not as nice as John Romita Sr. John Romita Sr. definitely is known for drawing the best women, but Mary Jane Watson's, she's definitely a good-looking character, and you have to draw her a certain way. I think Ron Frenz, for the most part, does a good job doing it. But it's not the best Mary Jane out there. But I think it gets the job done. I think when it comes to recognizing Ron Frenz's artwork, the main thing is noticing how he draws Peter Parker. And in that way, especially with the face of Peter Parker, you can tell that that's Ron Frenz because it's very Ditko-like in a way. But as you can tell with this very panel right here and how he draws Mary Jane, it's very similar to John Romita Sr.'s, but just quite a little bit different. I would say the main thing to look for is the way that he draws the face. He makes it very oval-like. I think John Romita Sr.'s face, when it comes to women, is more circular. So that's one little minor difference there. And also the eyes of Mary Jane are more oval-like instead of circular. And also one thing that he definitely does with all faces is that with the eyes especially, he doesn't give full outlines to the eyes. He adds a little bit of space there, and I think that's the style back then, especially with John Byrne's eyes as well. He would always leave a little white space right there where there's no line right there. But other than that, you can definitely tell this is a Ron Frenz issue. But yeah, this is definitely a cool issue. And let me just go ahead and show y'all what I'm talking about with the Hobgoblin. I mean, he is the master at drawing the Hobgoblin. And I'm going to show you exactly why. And I'm also going to show you how his Spider-Man is very Ditko-like as well. So there's the Hobgoblin. Doesn't get any better than that. And then look at this. So this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying he's very Ditko-like when it comes to how he draws Spider-Man. Because if you were to tell me this wasn't Ditko, I'll be like, wait a minute, that does look like Ditko. But no, that is Ron Frenz's Spider-Man. So yes, he definitely draws Spider-Man in the same unique manner in the way that he draws Spider-Man's eyes and just the whole physique of Spider-Man is definitely more skinnier. So yes, I would say Ron Frenz definitely was inspired by the great Steve Ditko. But in all, Ron Frenz definitely was a great artist. He contributed a great deal to the Amazing Spider-Man title, made it a lot greater, especially when it came to the whole storyline with the symbiote suit, which eventually became Venom. And so there you have it, folks. That is just a little bit of a overview, a great picture, in-depth view of how, you know, Ron Frenz drew Spider-Man, how he drew Mary Jane, and how he drew Peter Parker. Hope you got a little bit of an idea of how he draws these characters. But other than that, I hope y'all came out with some kind of observation from this. And go ahead now and drop a like if you have gained some kind of value from this video. Go ahead and drop a like. Comment down below what you think about Ron Frenz and how he contributed to The Amazing Spider-Man. Are there any other titles that Ron Frenz did that you want to mention? Go ahead and let me know down below. And go ahead now, drop a like, and I will see y'all in the next one.